Hello friends, good morning to all. Welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu and today we will discuss very important current affairs of 31st of August 2021. You can see two best images of the day, but today we will discuss very important and the most important current affairs. So watch this video till last. But I am requesting you all the students to download our application. Application downloading link is given in the description box and the name of the application is Careers Cloud. After downloading, you can log in with your email ID and after that you can click on this crack current affairs section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 year. Both the subscription prices are very much low. If you see the price, you will definitely surprise. But the most important thing that we are covering that current affairs which can come in every type of exam. It means we are covering 90 to 95% of that current affairs. This is the genuinity, this is the hard work of Affairs Cloud team. But how we are covering this current affair? We are providing you daily section. In the daily section, you will receive three things. One is the detailed current affair. Second is the question and answer format. And third is the quiz section, which you can attempt on our application on the daily basis. Next is the weekly section. Again, you will receive three type of things. One is the detailed current affair. Second is the question and answer format. And third is the quiz section, which you can attempt on our application on the weekly basis. But the most important section is the monthly and we are providing you four type of PDFs. One is the detailed current affair, question and answer format of current affairs, best 100 current affair that is also provided in the form of question and answer, and the pocket PDF. It means the 2-liner and the 3-liners current affair will be provided to you so that you can revise the current affair very easily. But guys, to enhance your performance further, we are also providing topic wise current affair. We are providing you 20 most important topics which are very important for every type of exam. If you want to cover one particular topic related all the news just from single PDF, then you can use this type of topic wise PDF. And if you're a banking aspirant, we are providing three things. One is the detail, second is the question and answer format of current affairs only related to banking and economy, and third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on monthly basis, but this is also only related to banking and economy. If you want to cover all the past current affairs just from single PDF, then you can use this exam PDF. We are providing detailed budget and economic survey. Also, we are providing you expected question and answer which can ask from the budget and economic survey by the examiner. And if you are a state student, it means you are preparing for your respective state exam. We are also providing state current affair, and the important thing that we are covering every state and union territory. So all these things comes under one subscription. We are not charging you different prices for different parts. So you have to just download our application Careers Cloud, log in with your email ID, then click on this crack current affair section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 year. Both the subscription prices are very much low. If you see, you will definitely surprise. But if you are a new student, you are starting your preparation, then I am advising you to subscribe for 2 year because there is no big difference between the 1 year subscription price and the 2 year subscription price. And we are providing 10% extra discount if you use this code ASH10. And if you have any query, you can email us on this email ID or you can call us on this number. So let's start today's current affair 31st of August 2021. But I am again requesting you all the students that you have to like this video, share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform. So you can join our Telegram group from the description box link. Here is the first question in the most important section, but it is from picture. This is the part 1. Highlights on ongoing Tokyo Olympics, not Tokyo Olympics, basically Paralympic Games, which was started on 24th of August and which will be ended on the 5th of September 2021. So we will cover the part 2 after the 5th of September, but now we are covering the part 1, just highlighting about the Paralympic Games. So total sports which were presented under this Paralympic Games were 22. You have to remember the red line words like 22 sports. And first time 2 games were introduced. One is the badminton, second is taekwondo. You have to remember, first is badminton, second was taekwondo. And both the games will replace, one is the sailing and second is the 7-a-side football. These both these games basically replaced by badminton and taekwondo. And official mascot, you can see here, it is Sumeti. You have to remember, you can see here the picture of Sumeti. And the Paralympic game symbol was adopted like you can say 15 to 16 years ago, and the name of the symbol is 3 agitos. So you have to remember 3 agitos. And this is very important because the current Paralympic logo was designed to reflect the 4 core values of the Paralympics. One is courage, second is determination, inspiration, and equality. And the Paralympic symbol, this 3 agitos, consists of 3 elements. One is in red, second is in blue, and third is in green. The 3 colors that are most widely represented in the national flags around the world. And these three agitos from the Latin meaning I move surrounds a central point symbolizing motion and emphasizes the role of Paralympic movement in bringing athletes together from all corners of the world. So that's why it is very important. You have to remember it means I move or you have to in motion. And from Indian side, it was the Tek Chand, the shot put thrower, was the flag bearer of India in the opening ceremony of the Tokyo Paralympics. You have to remember the name is Tek Chand from Indian side. And till date, it means till the August of 30th, 7 medals won by India, 2 gold, 4 silver, and 1 bronze. So let's look out these medals. One is the Avni Lekhera. Avni Lekhera won the gold medal in the shooting. You have to remember Avni Lekhera belongs to which state? Avni Lekhera belongs to Rajasthan, and she has won the gold medal in the women 10 meter air rifle shooting event by scoring almost 249.6 points in the final. And you can also remember that Avni became the first Indian woman to win a gold medal at the Paralympics and the fourth Indian gold medal at the Paralympics. But she is the first Indian woman to win a gold medal at the Paralympics. Next is Sumit Antil. Again, you have to remember he belongs to which state? He belongs to Haryana, and he wins the gold medal in the javelin throw in the F64 category. Remember F64. F64 categories for athletes with a leg amputation who compete with the prosthetics in a standing position. So this is F64, and this is India's second gold in the Tokyo Paralympics and the first in the athletics. First in the athletics, because shooting is not under the athletics, so that's why this is the first medal in the athletics, first gold medal in the athletics. And next is you have to remember Devendra Jajaria. Devendra Jajaria belongs to Rajasthan again. Rajasthan, and we also belong to Avni also belongs to Rajasthan, and Devendra Janjaria also belongs to Rajasthan. And he has won the silver medal in the men's javelin throw in the F46 category by throwing a distance of almost 64.35 meter. 64.35 meter. But Sumit Antil throw was almost 68.55 meter. Not almost, it is exact 68.55 meter. So you have to remember, because India won the gold medal in the javelin throw as well as the silver medal in the javelin throw in the F46 category as well as F64 category. F64 is basically for the leg amputation, and F46 category is for what purpose? It is for arm deficiency. Remember, it is for the arm deficiency. Next is name is Sundar Singh Gujjar. Again, he belongs to Rajasthan, and he won the bronze medal in the javelin throw. Again in the F46 category, but he won the bronze medal. You have to remember, he won the bronze medal. So this is very important. You have to remember. And next is Bhavina Bain Patel. Bhavina Bain Patel, and Bhavina Bain Patel, by the Patel you can guess that she belongs to Gujarat and wins the silver medal in the table tennis. And the 34-year-old Patel is the first player from India to reach the Paralympics final in the table tennis event. Next is Jogesh Kathunia, and he wins the silver medal in the discus throw. And he belongs to Delhi. And he has won the silver medal in the men's discus throw by scoring almost 44 meter, or exact is 44.38 meter in the final. Next is the Nishit Kumar, won the silver medal in the high jump, and he belongs to Himachal Pradesh, and he won the silver medal in the men's high jump category by jumping 2.06 meter in the finals. So remember these players, these are very important. Again, Avni Lekhera and Sumit Antil was very important, because Avni won the gold medal in the shooting 10-meter air rifle, and Sumit Antil won the gold medal in the javelin throw, and total distance covered is 68.55 meter. And Sumit belongs to Haryana and Avni belongs to Rajasthan. So this is very important. But one again very important news, Vinod Kumar, who won the bronze medal earlier in the men's discus throw, but he was declared ineligible because Indian discus thrower Vinod Kumar lost his bronze medal on the Monday after the competition committee of Tokyo Paralympics found him ineligible in the disability classification assessment. That's why this medal will not counted. So otherwise India won 2 bronze medal, but excluding Vinod Kumar, we won only 1 bronze medal, 4 silver and 2 gold. So you have to remember these 7 medals, but we will cover definitely in the different part when this Olympics completed. So we will cover on the 5th of September or the 6th of September definitely. So now we are moving to the next question, but you have to remember one important organization here. Important organization is International Paralympic Committee. International Paralympic Committee, president is Andrew Parson. Andrew Parson, headquarter is in Bonn, Germany. Bonn, Germany. Moving to next question. So only one question was in the most important section. Now we are moving to very important question section. You have to like this video, share this video and subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform, and join our Telegram group from the description box link. Here is the question. National Sports Day is annually observed across India on the 29th of August. You have to remember the date, 29th of August, to commemorate the birth anniversary of which legendary player? So this is very important, and answer of this question is Major Dhyan Chand. Answer is B. And recently you all know that Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratan Award, the highest sporting honor of India, has been renamed as Major Dhyan Chand Ratan Award in honor of the hockey legendary player Dhyan Chand ji. And he was also known as, you can say, hockey wizard or hockey wizard, and the magician. Remember these things because these can be asked in exam. And he was born on the 29th of August in 1905 in which state? In Uttar Pradesh, and exact place is Allahabad. Allahabad means Prayagraj. And the National Sports Day aims to create awareness about the importance of sports and reminds the need for sporting activities in life. And the government of India has decided to celebrate the birth anniversary of Major Dhyan Chand as a National Sports Day starting from the year of 2012. It means first time it was celebrated in 2012. And recently you have to remember Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award renamed as Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Award. It is the highest sporting honor of India. So this is very important. And who is the currently Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports? It is Anurag Singh Thakur. Anurag Singh Thakur. Constituency is Hamirpur, and it is in Himachal Pradesh. So you have to remember these things. I covered all the points. Now we are moving to next question. Navies of India and Germany carried out joint maritime exercise in which sea or in which ocean? So you have to tell me the answer. It is the Navy of India and Germany. Answer is Gulf of Aden. So below Red Sea, it is Gulf of Aden, and both the navies took a maritime exercise in Gulf of Aden. So on 26th of August 2021, a joint maritime exercise was held between the navies of India and Germany in the Gulf of Aden near Yemen. And from Indian side, you can say INS Trikand participated in this exercise, and from the German side it is Bern, INS, not INS, basically it is you can say GMS, Bern in the Gulf of Aden. So you can see here the Indian Navy was represented by Frigate Trikand, while Frigate Bern participated from the German Navy. And you can see this is the Gulf of Aden. This is Red Sea. This is Red Sea. This is Yemen, you can see. So in between Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, there is a place which is known as Yemen. So below Yemen, this exercise took place. And INS Trikand is deployed in the Gulf of Aden region for the anti-piracy control. It is permanently deployed on that area. And it is to enhance interoperability, facilitate exchange of the best practices in the maritime domain. And the exercise included cross-deck helo or the helicopters landing, the visit board search, and the seizures operation. So you have to just remember where it was happened. So answer of this question is Gulf of Aden. And you can also remember it is below Red Sea. So you have to remember this also. Moving to next question. Who has been declared the winner of the Belgian Grand Prix 2021? So this was interesting race because it was the shortest ever Grand Prix in terms of distance completed. Remember, it is the shortest ever Grand Prix in terms of the distance completed. And answer of this question is Max Verstappen, who belongs to Netherlands. You can see here Belgian Grand Prix, Max Verstappen wins the shortest ever Grand Prix, and second rank goes to George Russell Williams. Second rank goes to Britain player George Russell Williams, and the third rank goes to Lewis Hamilton. So you have to remember the first rank only Max Verstappen, and he belongs to Netherlands. And you can also recall all the Formula One racing from starting from March 2021. First was Bahrain, won by the Lewis Hamilton. Second, Emilia Romagna, Max Verstappen. You can just remember Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. And you can see here the Max Verstappen won first race Emilia Romagna, second race Monaco, third, fourth and fifth in a row, and these are like France, Styria and Austria, and last one is the Belgian till date. So you have to remember this is Belgium. So remember this. So very important. So this is full 2021 list. You can remember or you can revise all the races which was happening in 2021. But why we are saying it is the shortest ever Grand Prix? This is very important because rain shortened the Belgian Grand Prix and half points were awarded since 75% of the race distance was not completed. So that's why it is known as the shortest F1 race ever in the terms of distance completed. So all the Grand Prix exercises, or you can say the Formula One racing, organized by Federation of International the Automobile, or you can say FIA. Its headquarters is in Paris, France, and president is Jean Todt. Jeantodt. John Jean Todt. Moving to next question. Recently, Ed Asner passed away. He was very famous. He was very famous actor. So answer of this question is C. And United States Television, Low Grant actor Ed Asner passed away at the age of 91 in Los Angeles, California, United States of America. And Ed Asner was also born in United States of America. So examiner can ask the country also. And the actor won 7 Emmy awards. This is very good thing. 7 Emmy awards, and his animated movie, very you can say interesting movie. It was cartoon movie basically. Up was nominated for the Oscar for the best picture in 2009. In 2009, this movie is very much famous, and in Up he played a role of an old man, and he served the 21st president of the Screen Actors Guild, and he's one of the actor to win a comedy and the drama Emmy for the same role on the different shows. So this is very important. So you have to just remember Ed Asner, and he was very famous for his movie Up, like animated movie Up, and he played an old man character for under this movie. And he belongs to which country? He belongs to United States of America. So these things are very important. You can also see here the picture of Ed Asner. Low Grant actor, 7-time Emmy winner Ed Asner passed away. This question can be asked because he won 7 Emmy awards. This is important. Next, Ohmium India. Ohmium India sets up India's first green hydrogen electrolyzer factory in which state? This is very important. You have to remember electrolyzer. What is the meaning of electrolyzer? Electrolyzer is the system in which electrolysis is done, making it the most vital part of producing hydrogen or H2. And what is electrolysis? Electrolysis is the process used to split water into, you can say, oxygen and hydrogen. This is electrolysis. So remember electrolyzer and what is electrolysis. And this is the first Indian green hydrogen electrolyzer, and it will be set up in Bengaluru. It means I am talking about which state? I am talking about Karnataka. B is the answer. So you can see here it is boost for hydrogen mission. India gets the first electrolyzer unit in Bengaluru. And you can also see here the factory will produce proton exchange membrane hydrogen electrolyzers. And this proton exchange membrane hydrogen electrolyzers will produce green hydrogen through the process of electrolysis. I already covered what is electrolysis. But what is green hydrogen? Hydrogen produced by electrolysis using renewable energy or the non-fossil sources known as green hydrogen. And it has no carbon footprint. It is set to play a major role and build on the rapid increase of the renewable resources across the world. And India has already a target of 175 gigawatt of renewable energy by the year of 2022 and 450 gigawatt by the year of 2030. We have to achieve this target. And Ohmium India is basically belongs to, it's Ohmium International basically belongs to United States of America. Its headquarters is in United States of America. But you can also remember about Karnataka. Karnataka's governor is Thawarchand Gehlot, and very important national park is there. Like Bandipur National Park is there. Bandipur. Banerghatta is also there. Kudremukh is there. Very important. Kudremukh. There is Kali Tiger Reserve. Dandeli Tiger Reserve is also there. Nagarhole National Park is also there. So 6 very important. Moving to next question. Which insurance company has partnered with BillDesk for safe and secure e-mandate process on the premium payment procedures? So this company, it means this insurance company will use the BillDesk platform for the online payments or the online procedure. And answer of this question is Max Life Insurance. You have to just remember the question as same in slide only. So it is to enhance digital facility and provide digital premium payments capability to the customers of Max Life, and they partner for this with the Bill Desk to enable safe and secure e-mandate for the premium payments. And Max Life is now become the first life insurer to provide such facility of e-mandate to its customers. So you can remember this line. And Bill Desk will send a pre-transaction notification to all the customers of the Max Life at least 24 hours before the actual charge or debit. And Max Life Insurance has partnered with the Bill Desk. You have to remember this keyword. And the Max Life customers now have the option to choose the maximum amount for e-payment for the longer tenure. This would allow them to have better control over recurring transactions. In simple word, you can say that all the customers of the Max Life can now pay through the Bill Desk platform. So they can do online payments, payment through phone, check pickup facility, payment by auto debit, etc. facilities will be provided by Bill Desk. So you have to just remember the two companies. Moving to next question. Who has joined India's fastest growing sports education technological startup, which is known as Sporzo, as its strategic advisor and ambassador? Again, very important question. And this player is again very important. You have to remember the name of the player is Leander Pace. No, Leander Pace. Yes. Answer of this question is B, Leander Pace. B is the answer, guys. So remember, B is the answer. You can see here, Leander Pace becomes the brand ambassador of the Sporzo, and the Indian tennis player and the 18-time Grand Slam winner, Leander Pace has joined India's fastest growing sports edutech platform or the startup Sporzo as the strategic advisor and the ambassador. And the sports market in India is estimated around 100 billion INR. But sports in India only contributed 0.1% to the GDP as compared to the global average of 5%. So this company was launched in 2020 by G. Srinivasan, and it mainly focus on the education, training the youth, and also providing employment. So you have to just remember the brand ambassador and the advisor, and this is Leander Pace, and Leander Pace belongs to West Bengal. And Leander Pace was also awarded with the Padam Bhushan in 2014, Padam Shri in 2001, and he was also awarded with the Arjun Award in 1990. Arjun Award in 1990, Padam Shri in 2001, and Padam Bhushan in 2014. He will definitely receive Padam Vibhushan in coming years. So now we are moving to the next question. PM dedicated renovated Jallianwala Bagh Samarak in Punjab to India, and Jallianwala Bagh massacre was happened on. You have to tell me originally this incident was happened on which date. So exact date is basically 13th of April 1919. So answer of this question is A. So Jallianwala Bagh massacre of Amritsar was an incident which was held on 13th of April 1919, in which British troops under the command of General Reginald Edward Dyer fired on a large crowd of unarmed Indians in an open space known as the Jallianwala Bagh, Amritsar, Punjab. So this incident took place in Punjab in 1919 on the 13th of April. And PM also inaugurated the museum galleries at this mark, and India decided to observe 14th of August. You have to remember 14th of August every year as the Partition Horrors Remembrance Day. Partition Horrors Remembrance Day. We already covered this question. So you can see here Prime Minister Narendra Modi, very you can say less smile face, Narendra Modi dedicated the renovated complex of Jallianwala Bagh Smarak at Amritsar to the nation. And this is the 102nd anniversary of the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, because it was happened in 1919. We are in 2021, so it is 102nd anniversary. And this memorial was basically established in 1951 by the government of India to commemorate the Amritsar massacre. So you have to remember these things, and remember 14th of August every year from now onwards will be celebrated as Partition Horrors Remembrance Day. This is important. Moving to next question. Who gave the report Desertification and Land Degradation Atlas to India? So this is again very important question, because this atlas represented the desertification in India. That's why it is very important. And this atlas or this report is basically published by a very important organization, Indian Space Research Organization. You can also see here the picture. Land degradation in India hurts farmers and the forest dwellers the most, because according to this report, land degradation is the most pressing environmental problem in India, and almost 30% of the India's geographical area is already affected, as all Indian states have recorded an increase in degraded land in the past 15 years, mainly in the northeastern states due to high rainfall. And you can also remember this thing, like among the most degraded state, Rajasthan is the most degraded, second is Maharashtra, and third is Gujarat. And water erosion is the most common reason for the degradation. It is followed by wind erosion. So most common reason of the erosion is water erosion due to rain, you can say, or due to the landslides, you can say. And second reason is the wind erosion. It is almost 17%, but is the most is the water erosion, 80%. And the most affected region is the northeastern region. So you have to remember these things. These are very, very important. Now we are moving to next question. National Awards to Children, not children, it is Teachers 2021. It is by Education Ministry, and it released a list of 44 awards. Again, it is very important, but you don't have to remember these awards because they are 44. But if you want to cover your specific state award, like from your state which teacher won this award, then you can go to the list we uploaded on the site. Then you can check which teacher from your state selected under this 44 awards. So Union Ministry of Education, Department of School Education and Literacy published a 44 selected teachers from India for the National Award to Teachers 2021, which is the highest teacher award in India, and it will be represented on 5th of September on the occasion of the National Teacher Day. National Teacher Day, and President of India Ramnath Kovind will award the National Award to the Teachers 2021 to those shortlisted 44 categories. So you can remember one name, Harish Swami. Harish Swami, the headmaster of the Malda school in the West Bengal, was selected for the award for the West Bengal for his digital education model, which was created in 2020 in COVID-19. It was QR code. He started an initiative of the quick response code for the students of class 6 to 12, and the scanning of QR codes gives access to the books of all the subjects that our students cannot buy, and videos uploaded by the school teachers. So the main purpose is to celebrate the unique contribution of the finest teachers in India and to honor those teachers who have improved the quality of school education and the lives of their students. And National Award to Teachers was instituted in which year? It was instituted in 1958, and the guidelines were revised in 2018, and they rationalized the number of awards to 45. Maximum to maximum 45 teachers can be awarded under this. So remember what Ministry of Education, Dharmendra Pradhan is new Union Minister of Education, constituency is Madhya Pradesh. He is currently the member of Rajya Sabha. Moving to next section, it is our important question section. You have to like this video, share this video, and subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform, and join our Telegram group from the description box link. Here is the question. Association of Renewable Energy of States has signed MOU with which company to promote renewable energy technology in India, so that maximum to maximum renewable energy can be produced and we can achieve the targets like 175 gigawatt by the year of 2022, 450 gigawatt by the year of 2030. And answer of this question is all of these, like National Institute of Solar Energy, which is basically situated in Gurugram. You can note down the headquarters. National Institute of Bioenergy, this is again very important, and this is situated in Punjab. Kapurthala area is the main area. National Institute of Wind Energy is situated in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. So these three institutions signed a memorandum of understanding with the Association of Renewable Energy of State, so that we can promote the renewable energy in India. So this institution, if you want to note down, you can note down, otherwise it is not important. So it is the 7th foundation day of this organization. That's why they tied up with the three organizations. So India have to achieve 450 gigawatt by the year of 2030 and 175 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity by 2022. And out of 175 gigawatt, 100 gigawatt only from the solar power, 60 gigawatt only from the wind power, 10 gigawatt from the biopower, and 5 gigawatt from the small hydropower. So this is the contribution by the year of 2022 we have to achieve. So you have to remember, and remember the headquarter of these three institutions: National Institute of Solar Energy in Gurgaon or Gurugram, Haryana; National Institute of Bioenergy, its full name is basically you can say Sardar Swaran Singh National Institute of Bioenergy. That's why it is in Punjab, Kapurthala. Wind energy is in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Moving to next question. Recently, eGopala application web version was launched. This application is this application was launched basically in the year of 2020 as a breed improvement marketplace for the direct use of farmers. So it is for the dairy farmers. Answer of this question is A. And main objective is to provide real-time information to the dairy farmers on the animal health, nutrition, and breed development for the better productivity of milch or the milk producing animals, and in turn to increase the farmer's income. So it is just to increase the farmer income or double the farmer income by the year of 2022. So you can see here Union Minister of Fishery, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Purushottam Rupala ji launched e-Gopala. So Pala and Pala, so you can remember. And this is also integrated mobile application. And the application tells the farmer about the availability of the quality breeding services like artificial insemination, you can say vaccination, treatment, because this web-based e-Gopala platform would help the farmers to buy and sell disease-free germplasm in all forms. And it will send alerts on the due date for the vaccination, pregnancy diagnostics, calving, and it also provides information about the various government schemes. It will also guide farmers for the animal nutrition and treatment of animals using appropriate Ayurvedic medicine. So this is very important for the dairy farmers because all kind of help regarding the veterinary will be provided through this application. And this application or this platform was launched in the year of 2020. So now web-based version was also launched. So remember, one important organization related to dairy development, it is National Dairy Development Board. Its headquarters is in Anand, Gujarat, and its chairman is Minesh C. Shah. Minesh C. Shah. So he is currently the chairman of this organization. Moving to next question. Stuart Binney announces retirement from the first class and the international cricket. So Indian all-rounder and right-handed batsman Stuart Binney has announced his retirement from the international cricket and the first class at the age of 37. And Binney has represented India in the three formats. One is, you can say, the test. He played 6 tests, 14 one-day international and 3 T20s. And he has played with the Royal Challenge Bangalore, Mumbai Indians and Rajasthan Royals in the Indian Premier League. And Binney belongs to which state? Binney belongs to Karnataka. And remember, International Cricket Council, important body is there. Its chairman is Greg Barclay, and the executive chairman is Manu Sahni, but he has forced to resign. Headquarters is in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Moving to next question. 2021 International Day of Victims of Enforced Disappearance, 30th of August. So you have to remember this day because this day is important. So first of all, you have to remember this day is observed on 30th of August, and this is to create awareness about enforced or involuntary disappearance in the various regions across the globe. And the day highlights that enforced disappearance is a crime and it should not be used as a way to deal with the conflicts. And first time it was basically observed in the year of 2011. So you can just remember International Day of the Victims of the Enforced Disappearance was observed on the 30th of August. Next, we are moving to the one-liner important point. Here is the first point. National Small Industry Day 2021 is observed on which day? It is observed on 30th of August. Now, why this day is observed on the 30th of August? Because you have to remember that on that day, same in 2000, in exact year 2000, Government of India first time announced some package to the small and medium industries. That's why this day is basically observed on this day. And this day is to recognize the contribution of small scale industry to the development of India. And the day aims to promote the value of small businesses in society and to encourage the small industry across India. So remember, on 30th of August 2000, Government of India provided a substantial measure to support the small businesses in India. That's why this day is observed. But this day is not so much important. So Union Minister of MSMEs is Narayan Rane. Who was recently arrested by Maharashtra state government, and he is currently the member of Rajya Sabha from Maharashtra. ISRO successfully test propulsion system of the Gaganyaan service module. Again, this question is not so much important because this is just a testing, and ISRO successfully conducted the first hot test of the system demonstration model of the Gaganyaan service module propulsion system during the 450 seconds at the new test facility of ISRO propulsion complex in the Mahendragiri in Tamil Nadu. And the system met with all the objectives. This is the good news for the ISRO. And you can also remember about ISRO, headquarters in Bengaluru, and head is K. Sivan. Next, India's export to ASEAN is estimated to USD 46 billion in financial year 22. So, Union Minister of State for Commerce and Industry, Anupriya Patel, she is currently the Union Minister of State of Commerce and Industry, and she inaugurated India ASEAN Engineering Partnership Summit of 2021, which was organized by Engineering Export Promotion Council in association with the Ministry of External Affairs and Department of Commerce. And you can remember the government of Tamil Nadu is the partner state, of this summit, and Haryana government is joined as the focus state of this summit. So we will cover this question in the next day also, so that you can remember this. Next, India can achieve 11 trillion economic gain for timely action on climate change. It is Deloitte Economics Institute report. This is very important report, because if India can tackle this climate action or climate change, then we can basically you can say achieve this type of the economic gain, $11 trillion. This is huge thing. But if we are not taking action on the climate change in the next 10 years, then India can lose almost $35 trillion. This is a huge thing. So as a part of report, there is a window time of 10 years which can be used by India as an opportunity to tackle the impacts of the climate change. If we can tackle, then we can achieve this $11 trillion economic gain. Otherwise, we can lose $35 trillion in the next 50 years due to unmitigated climate change. So this is a report of Deloitte Economics Institute. And next is Coal Minister Prahlad Joshi launched Vriksharopan Abhiyan 2021. It is just not important. You can just remember Vriksharopan Abhiyan, maximum to maximum trees we have to plant it. And it is initiated by Coal Minister Prahlad Joshi. Next is International Day Against the Nuclear Test 2021 is observed on 29th of August. So it is the International Day Against the Nuclear Test, and it is observed on the 29th of August to create awareness about the hazards of the testing nuclear weapons or the nuclear explosion and the need to end nuclear test and achieve a nuclear weapon free world. And you can also remember the first ever nuclear test was done by United States of America, and it was conducted on the 16th of July 1945 during the Second World War. And the name of this you can say nuclear bomb was Trinity. Trinity was the code name of the first ever nuclear bomb, which was denoted in the New Mexico in United States of America as a part of the Manhattan Project. So you can remember the first nuclear bomb, which was code named as the Trinity, was tested by United States of America on 16th of July 1945. Moving to next question, it is the question of the day. What was the question of 29th and 30th of August 2021? Question was, the Great Silk Route to the Indians was opened by. Very important question even. This question was asked in so many exams, especially the SSC. The Silk Road or the Silk Route is a modern term referring to a historical network of interlinking trade routes across the Afro-Eurasian landmass that connected East, South and the Western Asia with the Mediterranean and the European world. And extending almost 6,500 kilometers, the Silk Road gets its name from the lucrative Chinese silk trade along it, which began during the Han Dynasty of China. Han Dynasty of China during the time period of 206 before Christ to 220 AD. 220 AD, almost 400 years. And the Kushan Empire in India, or the Kushan Empire in India, started this and main route from the Central Asia to India and connecting India with the Silk Roads and the Silk Routes, the Mediterranean Sea through Gandhara. So main ruler of the Kushan Empire or the Kushan Empire is Kanishk. So Kushan Empire very much flourished during the Kanishk time period. So answer of this question is A. So remember this question. This is very, very important. Moving to question of the day. Again, very simple question. The rulers of which dynasty started the practice of granting tax-free villages to the Brahmins and the Buddhist monk? So, Brahmins and the Buddhist monk earlier both were opposite, but these rulers or this dynasty started the practicing of granting tax-free villages to both the Brahmins as well as Buddhist monk. So, you have to tell me answer in the comment box and also tell me the famous ruler of this dynasty. I will tell you. Moving to last, and it is the motivation slide. You can provide me motivation, I will provide you motivation, and you have to like this video, share this video and subscribe this channel, guys. By providing these three things, you are motivating me. And press this bell button and also join our Telegram group from the description box link. And it is Affairs Cloud. Promise that it will boost your confidence in the general awareness section, definitely. And don't take life so much serious. Life is fun. Always be happy like this, smiley. If you are smiling, it means someone other is smiling by seeing you. And by these means you are basically creating positive environment. So that's why your exam will clear easily. Thank you guys. Take care and bye-bye.